Hi Blues, welcome back to Blue Moon Rising TV. It's Paul and Stephen, as you should know by now, and I don't know why we've got big smiles on our faces because City did what City do and dropped points in a supposedly easy game.
Yeah, just when they had you back in there, when they'd got all our hopes up and we were on the up again, everything was going great.
Singing
De Bruyne,
Aguero songs.
yeah, San Siro, feeling optimistic again. No, just knocked us right back down again, back on the floor with that horrible familiar feeling of a post-winter game that we've had for so long this season.
I think it's because we had those 3 wins in a row in the league, which we hadn't seen since the start.
It's the hope that kills you, isn't it?
And then, exactly. I think it's just a sick joke that Manchester City likes to play on their fans. But anyway, we're going to get into the whys and the hows and the whens, and we know when, but the other stuff. And we're going to go through 5 stats and have a look at what went wrong last night. So the first stat we're going to look at is 10%. What does that 10% represent?
That was the pass accuracy completion. Basically, we were 10% down on our overall accuracy and completion than we were compared to the Chelsea game. So basically, we were misplacing passes left, right and centre. We weren't keeping the ball properly. And you've got to look at reasons why that. Now, the 2 big changes in midfield were Fernandinho came out and Fernando came in. And Sami Nasri, it was an injury, so it's not his fault as such, he was out and there was no Silva. And we had Fabian Delph on the left wing, so that was odd. So basically, obviously I look at Fabian Delph and think left winger. We all do, obviously. But basically, that was the thing. We weren't keeping the ball, and that was evident throughout the game, I think, really. Yeah,
it's funny, isn't it? It's like somebody was asking me, who didn't watch the game, and a non-City fan, saying, was it because we rested all our best players? And when you tell them the players that weren't there, you'd maybe think, because I said, Sami Nasri wasn't there, David Silva wasn't there, and they're like, but Aguero played. It's like, but you sort of start to realise how much we do rely on these players, like Sami Nasri. He, as well as obviously Kevin De Bruyne, who we'll come to, he's Sami Nasri has lifted the team, really, hasn't he?
He brings this composure to the team that we've lacked all season. Now, he's always been a big part of City's identity over the last few years, and if you think about the great City performances, the 6-1 and all the goals we scored in Pellegrini's first season, they were always built around that kind of triumvirate of Yaya, Nasri and Silva playing these little triangles around teams. Against Tottenham as well, I remember in recent years, one game when we battered them and they were sensational, and having him back kind of brought a little of that familiarity back to the team, and you could see him reacting to that, and everything suddenly clicking into place. And obviously we can't plan a whole season around that player, but it was obviously a boost to the team. And Fabian Delph, as much as he's not, he's a good player, he isn't a Sami Nasri, he never will be, he's not even close to that kind of player. And then there was Fernandinho as well, who's a big part of our overall game in midfield. He wasn't there. Fernando's quite limited comparatively.
I think with Sami Nasri and Fernandinho missing, we lack that directness, don't we? Sami Nasri and Fernandinho will get quite far up the pitch, and Sami Nasri will, on Match of the Day, they were discussing this about how Sami Nasri will put himself right in the box. He'll be there ready for those tap-ins, those final passes.
It was 2 defensive midfielders basically in place of a box-to-box midfielder and a proper number 10 creative midfielder. So we straight away we lost a lot of forward momentum.
I'm a fan. I've got to say I'm a fan of Delph actually, but I think just not in that position. So
not replacing Sterling or Nasri or Silva because he couldn't be anything less like that. But,
there's some logic I imagine there somewhere, but I don't know where.
Names out of a hat on a piece of paper.
Dartboard on that video with Kelechi. Maybe that's how he picked the team. Anyway, our pass accuracy was down, and therefore we lost that sort of composure and control, didn't we? Okay, the next figure that we're going to look at is the number 12, and that's the amount of times that we had a 12-win consecutive streak against Newcastle prior to this game, and then all we needed was one more to go joint top in terms of teams that other teams have beaten consecutively.
Win streaks
against a certain team. All we needed was one more to go top of the pile. And obviously, we made a mess of it.
Of course we did.
And I think this is interesting because it shows you can never trust City. Even when it's the easiest thing in the world, when you've got Wigan in a final, when you've got QPR at home and you to win the league. We did it there, but obviously in the hardest way ever.
You've got Aston Villa mid-season and you batter them and didn't draw.
Exactly. The supposedly easy ones on paper are never going to be easy, and that's why I think Real Madrid we could do them, because that would just be ultimate typical City.
Classic City.
So, but it looked like something that we just we thought we got 3 points.
Would it have been a Premier League record as well?
That
would have been nice, wouldn't it? 13 wins against one team in a row as a Premier League record.
And we would have been their bogey team, which it's good to strike fear into a team's heart, really. And then, you know, we've got, so it's L for them against City, and then there's that D
nice
there.
Little D there,
it's just messed up for my OCD. But, you know, like I said, what does that tell you about City? It tells you everything, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, it tells you we've got a very odd mentality that still lingers around in the club, you know. There's still that sense of... We get a little complacent, I guess, you know, and that sums up our season, maybe the past year and a half.
I think you can't expect to go, you know, in the Premier League, you can't expect to beat every team, but when you're playing a team like Newcastle that are getting, you know, trounced.
Yes, in the relegation zone, and we you know, beat PSG, beat Chelsea, battered Bournemouth, and beat West Brom, then you should expect to at least create chances. Yeah,
exactly, and we just weren't in it, really. We weren't at the races against them. So anyway, on to the next one, and the next one is a positive.
Yeah,
thank God.
A happier point.
And this is the number 100, and who has reached his centenary?
King Kun
Aguero. Yeah, he is going down as a Premier League and Manchester City legend. He is just he's on fire, isn't he? I mean, even last night he didn't have the best of games.
But he scored.
But he scores, even when he's not playing well.
I'm not having the offside thing, because the amount of goals or chances that we've had given against us this season through dodgy decisions and penalties that we've not had, we deserve one, so I'm taking that, because...
And a penalty later on in the game.
Yeah.
I was at the ground, so I didn't see it. But
it was a penalty.
But you know that Kun Aguero, if he goes down, it's because he's been fouled.
He sat there with that head in hand for about a minute, just looking like
that
depressed
a little bit, to be honest, but because he was like playing all the team on side. But we were never going to score anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, in any case, the positive is he's reached that 100. He's the second fastest player in the Premier League history.
And has the best goals per minute ratio in Premier League history as well. So he's an absolute phenomenon. And he's totally underappreciated as a footballer. He's constantly ignored for all the big awards. He's overlooked repeatedly. He's just an incredible player. And it annoys me at times how little other fans of other teams, the press and the media don't give him the credit he deserves.
Yeah, I mean, when we put it out on Twitter that he's one of the most underrated players, well, actually, because it's Twitter, we said he's the most underrated player in the world, because there's no room for nuance on Twitter. No. But people were saying, what are you talking about? Everyone loves him. He's one of the best players to ever play. Well, it's like, yeah, okay, fair enough, you think that. But not everybody does.
No, and
he's not getting the recognition.
In the non-pudding, really. There's no, whatever that means. But there's no awards for him. There's nothing. Like, how can Sergio Aguero never been in the Premier League Team of the Year? You know that. How can he not? How can he in his first
Some
season,
of the players that have been in there as well.
Lallana beat him to a nomination for a shortlist. Now that's mental, because Lallana is a good player at very best. But to put Aguero on the shortlist, Aguero can have an average season and be better than Lallana's peak season. Peak Lallana doesn't get near Aguero with one leg.
No.
So, you know, and then even in his first season with City, with the 93-20 moment, scoring 30 goals in all competitions, he still got beat to the PFA Young Player of the Year by
Kyle Walker.
That's a horrible punchline.
Kyle Walker, who's now, admittedly, is now at Barcelona, scoring... Oh, no, wait, he's not, is he?
No, he's still a functional... He's done all right this season, actually.
Yeah, but he's no Sergio Aguero. No. Yeah. So anyway, well done, Aguero. Leave your comments below. Is Sergio Aguero the best striker to ever play in the Premier League?
Stats don't lie.
I'm saying yes. You say what you want. Comments will be deleted if you say no. Okay, and on to the next stat, and this is the number 23, and this is more relevant to the whole season. And every 23 minutes, Kevin De Bruyne is getting a key assist, a key pass, an assist, or a goal. So this is about his game in general. At Newcastle, I thought he was one of our better players, but that wasn't saying a lot.
No, he was good for the first 45 minutes, I reckon. Yeah. He started quite well. The whole team did. He was looking quite vibrant, but then he kind of got caught in the kind of confused malaise that affected the whole team in the second half. Yeah. He just kind of he looked a bit worn down with everything, but he's had such a barnstorming kind of return to the team. He's allowed. This is the kind of performance I respected him from when he came back initially. You know, the slow performance. He's just kind of peaks a little bit, and he looked a little bit tired.
Aguero normally takes a few games to get back into it, doesn't he? But De Bruyne just hit the ground running, didn't he?
And you know what? He's allowed a slightly quieter night because he's a phenomenal player, and he was still pushing forward and creating stuff initially. Yeah. But it didn't happen, and maybe he missed having the people like Silva and Nasri around him, or Fernandinho supporting midfield. Maybe he missed that too, because great players still need great support. You know, they still need that kind of assistance, and he didn't quite click in that system, but not necessarily his fault.
No, like you say. say, he's allowed it. I think if he wasn't there last night, I think we might have dropped all points, because I think without him it would have been like one of those games from a couple of months ago where we draw in against Villa. And you know,
it
just
makes
not
you feel confident, doesn't he? Just being there.
Yeah. I think he does raise everybody up a little bit, and he gave us a bit of dynamism in midfield, because we were just, let's face it, we were crap all over the pitch, and he was quite good. But anyway, we love you, Kevin De Bruyne.
We do
At
indeed.
the start of the season as well, I've got to add this. He was getting a bit of stick for his away performances not being up to scratch. Yeah. Since he's come back, I think he's more or less, he has got that out of the way.
He's been phenomenal.
He's been amazing home and away, hasn't he?
He's a genuine world-class player who will possibly win. If anyone ever sees sense at the PFA, they will nominate him next season when he rightly
spine-tingling moments.
He's going to, under Guardiola, who did want him, definitely, he's going to reach a level that I don't think we've seen in a long time in a City shirt. I love Aguero, I love Yaya, Silva, all that, but I think De Bruyne has got potential to be
next level,
because he creates just as much as them. He nearly scores as much as Aguero, which is mental. And he just does everything. He's a incredibly world-class player.
He's good off the ball as well, isn't he? And we can't sing his praises enough. I think as well, we mentioned Guardiola. I think he did the equivalent of passing a letter across the room to another kid, telling him that they fancy
it's too much, leave him.
I think he sent that message to cheeky Bergestein and said to him, buy this player.
Do you reckon he was telling Bayern that he was naff, really? Like, don't sign him, he's rubbish.
Yeah, that would be funny. As long as he's not doing that with us when he's already signed to manage God
3
knows
years
who.
from now at New York City or something.
Yeah, exactly. I'm all right with that. But anyway, no, everything's going really well at Bayern. So all those excuses, I'm just going to throw this out there as well,
nonsense.
About our season being derailed because of him. Well, you would think it would derail their season even more.
Yeah, and who wouldn't want to up their game to play under the best manager in the world?
Exactly.
So
that one's out the window straight away. And the last stat is the number 34, which is the amount of goals that we've conceded, which is more than any other team in the top four. So basically, it's just showing. This is why we wanted to talk about, actually, related to this, was Mangala, Otamendi and company. Yeah. What's going on there? Would you have brought company back? I mean, hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Always, but I genuinely were saying in a preview that maybe for the first time in a long time, Otamendi and Mangala looked quite relaxed in their positions. They were starting to build up a bit of partnership. They've always had this kind of the idea of company coming back, breathing down their necks constantly. They've never really had a chance to embed themselves into the team without any pressure. Yeah. And for a while, they had that. And it was no coincidence, in my opinion, that they started to look like a partnership. They started they were reading each other's movement. They were moving across as a back four. And I loved Vincent Kompany, but he didn't look fit last night. He didn't. He looked not ready at all. And it's easy to say in hindsight, but was it always going to be a wise idea to bring him back against a team who are fighting for their lives, where we could have maybe eased him back in against Stoke? They've got nothing to play for at the moment. Yeah, we wanted calm heads last night, didn't we? And we didn't really get it. I think what you said there about partnership, I think it's something, and it's just been so apparent that we've lacked that. Centre-back is not a typical position that you chop and change. No. It's about two players, getting understanding. And have we had any of that this season? I mean, we've had Martin Demichelis have to come in, and we all know how bad that's gone for us. And, none of our players have been fit. And now, when our players are more or less fit, we're chopping and changing again. There's loads of patterns. At the start of the season, the first 5 games was Mangala and Kompany, and they were good. They played well together. Then Kompany got injured, and then Otamendi came in, and they were sketchy with each other. Then there's more injuries. Then Kompany came back with Otamendi, and it took them a few games. They started to look good. Kompany got injured again. Demichelis came in. Mangala, injuries everywhere. Players out, changing constantly. But then eventually, there was Otamendi and Mangala played together a few games, and they looked good alongside Clichy and Sanya, our best fullbacks at the moment. Yeah. And now it looks like we're going to change all that again, which is, I understand it's Vincent Kompany, but it's tough because it does need that consistency. Yeah. And you wonder if it's worth. You wonder if it was worth getting to the end of the season, And but that's horrible to say. I'm sure I'm probably wrong, and I hope I am. But
Well, let's ask everyone.
Yeah, what do you reckon?
What do you think for the Champions League game? What should our centre back pairing be if everyone's fit?
How would you drop him? It's hard, isn't it?
That is a tough one, and I'm not necessarily saying drop Company, but maybe it would have been better to give him 30 minutes at the end of the game.
Yeah, then start with Stoke.
Yeah, for example. But do you know what? In the Champions League so far, Mangala and Otamendi have been class. It's a tough one. What would you do? What's our preferred centre-back pairing for one of the biggest games in Manchester City's history? Definitely in my lifetime. That's the top 5 stats relating to the game that we just had. Let us know any key stats that you're interested in. How happy are you to see Kun Aguero reach 100? Again, let us know how good exactly he is in the comments below. Like the video if you've enjoyed it. We'll be doing some previews for the match at the weekend, and we're going to start getting ready for the Champions League game against Real Madrid. We're excited. Again, drop a like on the video, comment, subscribe, do all that. We'll see you in a bit.